Our team often visits real projects across Canada and United States. We meet with security system integrators and users to see how modern video surveillance systems, access control, alarm systems and other technologies actually work in real-world environments, not just during presentations in industry events. Recently, we visited another interesting project in Los Angeles. We were invited by YesTechie, security integrator we already know well, and we have featured some of their projects on our channel before. At first, this looks like a fairly typical commercial project, although it is quite large. This is a truck yard where many trucks, trailers, containers and other types of commercial vehicles and equipment move in and out every day. By the time we arrived, YesTechie had already built most of the main infrastructure using UniFi ecosystem. This included UniFi Protect video surveillance system with LPR cameras, access control with UniFi intercom at the entrance gate and Wi-Fi network for the office, and wireless bridges connecting different parts of this large property. But the most interesting part started after the main installation was already completed. While working with the customer, the YesTechie team discovered several very specific business needs that could not be fully solved using the standard features of even such large ecosystem as UniFi. Instead of stopping there, the integrator decided to build its own custom AI solution on top of the existing infrastructure. And I think this is what makes this project especially interesting. Not that long ago, developing this kind of custom solutions could be very complicated and expensive. But today we are starting to see how integrators can build these solutions around the specific needs of a business. First, let's understand what the customer was actually trying to solve. As I said before, this is the large truck yard where different types of commercial vehicles and equipment are stored and serviced. Every day, tractors, trailers, chassis, containers, tank trucks and other vehicles come in and out. Some bring equipment, some pick it up, while other trucks stay on the property for service and then leave again. So for this business, it's not enough to simply know that a vehicle entered the property. They need to know exactly what came in, which company it belongs to, when it arrived and when it left. To help with this, YesTechie had already installed license plate recognition cameras. They were positioned to monitor vehicles entering and leaving the property and could recognize license plate quite well, including at night. But it quickly became clear that a standard license plate wasn't enough for this business. In this trucking industry, a single vehicle can have several important identifiers. In addition to license plate, there can be tractor number, container number, chassis number, company information, or USDOT number. With 10 trucks, there is another interesting challenge. They can have Hazmat placards that identify the type of dangerous materials being transported. This information is also important for the customer because it helps the team understand what type of vehicle or material they may need to work with. Another challenge is that these identifiers are not always located in the same place. A container number is usually found a predictable location, but a unit number or other information on a truck can appear in completely different places depending on the company and the type of vehicle. And this was especially interesting to hear directly from the customer during the interview. The existing system was doing a good job recognizing license plate, but the business needed much more information. What the customer really wanted was a single dashboard that could automatically create a log of all the vehicles moving through the property. He wanted to see what type of the vehicle arrived, which company it belongs to, which numbers were recognized, when it entered and when it left. And when needed, he wanted to quickly find a specific event by container number, company, vehicle type or other information. Each record also needed to be connected to the actual images or video from the cameras. So, if the system recognized a specific number, the user could open the event, see the exact image and then go directly to the related video if needed. Instead of searching through hours of recorded footages, the customer wanted a structured database where video would still be original source of information, but the most important data would be automatically extracted and organized by the system. This was a very specific solution built around the workflow of the particular business. There simply wasn't standard feature inside traditional video surveillance system that could fully solve this problem. And this is where probably the most interesting part of this project begins. With strong experience in UniFi Protect and IT infrastructure in general, the YesTechie team decided not to look for another ready-made platform. Instead, they decided to build their own solution on top of the system that was already installed. They added a local computer on site to handle additional data processing. The UniFi infrastructure still remains the foundation of the system. The cameras continue the recording video and collecting events, while the necessary data is accessed through the API and used for additional processing. On top of this, YesTechie developed their own algorithms and separate dashboard that turns information from the cameras into a clear and organized log of vehicle activity. We actually had a chance to be there during the first presentation of their solution to the customer. At that point, it was still a beta version, so it was especially interesting to see not only the technology itself, but also the communication between integrator and end user. And by the way, the customer agreed to have this meeting recorded, so you can watch the full interview and system demonstration on YesTechie YouTube channel. I will leave a link because it's really interesting to hear directly from the customer and learn more about the problems he wanted to solve. Even in the first version, the dashboard could already show vehicle activity, entry and exit times, images and video from multiple cameras. And the user could select a specific time period, filter different types of vehicle, such as tankers or bobtails, and use additional information for search. But the most interesting part happened during the presentation itself. Instead of simply showing the customer finished product, YesTechie went through his actual workflow together with him to understand which features would really be useful in his daily operations, what informations need to be visible immediately, what information will employees actually search for, which data is critical, and which features would simply be nice to have. The conversation also brought up some additional ideas. For example, the customer asked for the ability to export the log to the Excel, and it turned out that this information could be useful for more than just security. The data could also be used to verify internal operations and even help with billing. For example, if the customer needs to confirm how many times specific container entered the property during a certain period, there is no need to manually search through hours of recorded video. He can simply search for container number in the dashboard and see its history on the property. And this is where we can clearly see how a camera can become more than just a security tool. It can also become a source of structured business data that can be searched, filtered, exported and used in the company's daily operations. After the first presentation, YesTechie collected the customer's feedback and continued developing the system. A few weeks later, they presented the next version, and one of the main features requested by customer had already been implemented. The system could now automatically recognize container number and add them directly to each vehicle record. The customer could then search and filter events using specific container numbers, and the AI result can always be verified. The user can open the specific event, see the exact camera image where the number was recognized, and then go to the original video if needed. And I think this entire process is a great example of the value of a custom solution. I believe this project is a great example of something we often talk about on this channel: the difference between installer and true technology integrator. Installing cameras, access control, or network infrastructure is only part of the job. The real value comes from understanding how the customer's business works and using both experience and technology to solve the actual problems behind the project. YesTechie is a good example of this approach, and as technologies like AI continue to develop, I think we will see more integrators building custom solutions that only a few years ago would have been much more complicated and expensive to create. This is also why at Pipl Systems we want to show more than just a list of security security integrators. We want businesses to see their real projects, experience, specializations, certifications, and types of solutions they have actually delivered. So if you're looking for security integrator, visit Pipl Systems, find companies in your area and take a look at their work. And if you are a security integrator yourself, you can apply to be listed in our directory and share your project, certifications, and areas of expertise with us. We also visit selected projects ourselves, meet the integrators and their customers, and share these real-world installations with our audience. Because in the end, the best way to understand what the integrator can do is to see what they have already done. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.
Need a security system installed? Finding a trusted, qualified integrator isn't easy. Pipl Systems is a platform to find verified, professional security integrators. Browse by location, see real projects, and choose a company you can actually trust. Pipl Systems. Find your trusted security integrator today.